This is section 2.6, Input-Output Models. And we're going to use matrices to deal with some questions about production and flow of goods. And the formula that you need is right here. So we need to remember this formula. And the various variables are A, which is the amounts of each commodity used in the production. D is the demand matrix, and X will be the production matrix. So here's an example. If A is the amount of commodity, that's that matrix, and demand matrix is this. So X will be the identity for whatever size your matrix is. In this case, it's a 2. So this is I2 minus your A that's given. So we figure out what that is. We take the inverse of that, that's equal to this, and we multiply it by the given demand. And so then we have our production. So on the calculator, that's not too bad. We can do that pretty easily. So let's look. We have some basic ones and then we have some word problems. So let's look at our problems. All right, so number 1, and I've written the formula up here just to remind us. Find the production matrix for the following input and output demand matrices using the open model. So they've given you A and they've given you D. And we need the identity for a 2 by 2. So it would be this minus this, and we would find the inverse of that and multiply it by D. So let's do this on our calculator so we go through the whole thing. So we'll clear, and we'll get this over here. I think you can see that. So I need to put A and D in my calculator. So we'll go over here. And we need a 2 by 2. And so we've got 0.3, 0.3, 0.35, 0.1, and that looks right, so we'll second quit. We'll go back in and put D. So we'll go to B to edit that, and this is a 2 by 1, which we already have. We want to put 2 and 3. All right. So second quit. Then we can simply do our formula. So we need identity 2. We get that. We can get that real easily by going to second matrix, over to math, right here, identity number 5. We put a 2 in there. That tells it which identity we want. We want to subtract matrix A. All right. We'll get that matrix. We want to find the inverse of that, and the easy way to do that is to say we want to find the inverse of this answer. So second answer, and hit your inverse key and enter. We get some big stuff like that, and what's the last step is to multiply this times D, which is the demand matrix. We put it in B, second matrix. Get the name B, we would enter, and so we get these, and it does say round your final answer to the nearest hundredth. So that would be 5.14, that would be 5.33. So I've actually got those screens here for this one, but we did it together just now in the video, so that's pretty straightforward. And then we're going to go to number 2, and I don't have the screens, but you do the same thing. You're going to put this in A and this in B, and you will go in and do, remember, I2 minus, here's your formula. If you've forgotten, you're going to subtract the A, and you're going to take the inverse of that, and then you're ultimately going to multiply it times B, which is, we've just changed it to B instead of the D in the formula, which is demand. So you should get those. So practice those. You're going to do the same thing for number 3. And then let's get to number 4, which is a word problem. An economy depends on two basic products, wheat and oil. Now, to produce 1 metric ton of wheat requires 0.25 metric tons of wheat and 0.31 metric tons of oil. Production of 1 metric ton of oil consumes 0.07 metric tons of wheat and 0.13 metric tons of oil. Find the production that will satisfy a demand of 600 tons of wheat and 1,000 tons of oil. So, to produce 0.25 and 0.31, we're going to consume this and this. So here is our A, and here's our D. That wasn't given to you, but it was told to you right here. All right, so if we do the same thing, identity 2 minus A times B, and I got these numbers here. How much wheat is required to satisfy the demand? Well, that is your first item, 938. It says round to 2 decimal places as needed. Round the final answer to the nearest whole number as needed. So that'll be 938, and this will be 1484. All right, and so that's what that's telling you. How much oil is going to take to get the demand that was listed, and how much wheat, and we figured that out with our formula. All right, number 5. The input-output matrix for a simplified economy with just 3 sectors, agriculture, manufacturing, and households, is given to the right. All right, what production levels are needed to meet the demand in agriculture, manufacturing, and households, respectively, given the demand matrix shown at the right? So, really lots of words, but we're just doing the same thing. Now, we have a 3 by 3, so we need identity 3 minus this A. Take the inverse of that and multiply it times our demand matrix. You get 13,421, 8,504, and 45,184, and we're doing whole number. So those in yellow are the numbers that will go in your boxes. So that's how we're going to use the input-output model and get our calculator to help us do that.